Hello, my name is Kevin Walker, and I'm representing KK&L Diversity Consultants, leading the industry in diversity and inclusion strategies. Who we are. We're at KK&L, your best and only total solutions provider for diversity consulting in the workplace. KK&L was conceived back in 2008 as its officers recognized the need for diversity and inclusion and the global benefits that a well-structured diversity program could offer global organizations. These benefits mostly include increased sales, increased profitability, diverse talent acquisition and retention, as well as overall shareholder profitability. At KK&L, we are committed to helping our clients create and maintain a work environment that values and fosters diversity and inclusion. By designing programs that focus on recruiting, developing, and retaining a diverse workforce, we assist our clients in meeting the needs of a global economy. A global economy in which diverse talent is a critical factor to organizational success. Our ability to attract and retain exceptional professionals with diverse backgrounds and life experiences helps our clients bring more innovative, creative, and unique ideas and approaches to how well they're able to deliver excellent services and solutions to their respective industry. Our studies have proven that organizations that utilize diversity and inclusion strategies tend to have the following results. Revenues can rise on an average of 9%. Diverse organizations are 70% more likely to capture a new market. Organizational performance can increase on average by roughly 80%. For every 1% rise in gender diversity, which is women, it can equate to 3% more sales. And LGBT employees are 10% more productive in a supportive environment. Now, we were retained by your Chief Human Resources Officer, and he asked us to do an evaluation of the company as relates to diversity and inclusion. And we found some very interesting facts, guys. Number one, your hiring practices tend to be reactionary. We can never really find a true structure as far as relating to talent acquisition and retention. Two, over the last 24 months, you guys have had a continued exodus of mid-management leaving for the competition. Why is this? Three, we noticed that there was a lack of leadership from senior management. Senior management seems to be too involved in the day-to-day nuances of running the organization rather than leading. Four, compensation inconsistencies are too prevalent, guys. Five, there's been a lot of increased litigation as a result of your hiring practices. Again, we can find no true strategy as far as your talent acquisition and how you're retaining employees. And mostly importantly, unstructured HR policies and guidelines. The previously developed HR policies and guidelines have pretty much not been adhered to nor updated within the last 5 years. Now, gentlemen, with that said, this is how KK&L can help your organization. As it relates to the hiring issue, we would like to review the HR policies and practices to identify potential barriers and opportunities for improvement. We want to ensure that the Bank of Shangri-La gets the right people at the right time. For the management exodus issue, we would develop methodologies that effectively capitalize on the strengths of all the employees and leverage their unique values. As a result, studies have shown that employees are almost 87% more likely to stay with the organization as a result of inclusion. For the lack of leadership, as we mentioned earlier, we insist that senior management focus on the diversity of issues from the employee base. True diversity is an acceptance of diversity of perspective, not just the people. For the compensation issue, develop a diversity committee that will survey and review current compensation packages. We will make suggestions to HR and senior management on methods to bridge the disparity gap over a 2-year period. Litigation. KK&L will assess your current expenses as it relates to potential vulnerability and will develop proactive management plans. Our risk assessments typically combine data from people processes, legal, and the media into a comprehensive picture with an appropriate recommendation that might avoid or reduce the impact of a potential lawsuit. HR policies. Again, we would review and rewrite all your HR policies as it relates to recruiting, staffing, compensation and benefits, as well as change management and performance management. Now I'd like to take a moment to tell you about one of our success stories, which is Walmart, which everyone knows. KK&L was able to provide Walmart with a dynamic diversity strategy as it relates to innovation. Walmart was successful in leveraging this information by establishing a diverse and inclusive culture. This inclusive culture now serves as an incubator, for lack of a better word, for creative thinking through the following efforts. Developing methods. Employees now have the freedom of thought to challenge conventional ways of thinking and are now encouraged to find new ways to solve problems as well as unlock their full potential. Advocating collaboration. Walmart now encourages employees with different backgrounds and experiences to share their unique perspectives across different functional areas. As a result, now the organization is a much more cross-functional organization. Ingenuity. Employees are now encouraged to challenge conventional wisdom by going the other way. Freedom of thought, for lack of a better word. Cultural intelligence. Strengthening cultural intelligence through efforts such as cultural heritage celebrations, offering cultural assessment tools, cross-country leadership summits, and cultural competency training all contribute to strengthen the cultural intelligence of the organization. And more importantly, growth ideas. Now, Walmart performs monthly town hall meetings which are hosted by the CEO where any issue can be discussed and addressed. The act on diverse ideas has shaped the growth of the company and helped customers save money and live better.
Now, for whatever reason, should you guys not opt to use our services, here's some things you need to know. First of all, to create enduring diversity, organizations must implement proactive, long-term strategies that span the talent management cycle. Lack of this process will most likely lead to lack of talent development. You guys can essentially become a revolving door for recent graduates. When employers tend to embark on diversity and inclusion initiatives, they often bring in diverse entry-level talent and think their work is done. But this approach backfires when young, diverse talent sees a leadership team consisting of only one race or one ethnicity group. Unable to see themselves growing with that company, they tend to plan an exit strategy. Your human resources problem is what we like to call it. Corporate leaders typically ask HR managers to identify diverse candidates, assuming that diversity and inclusion is a single initiative handled by recruiters. But really, guys, to achieve true, sustained diversity, there must be a number of simultaneous, coordinated efforts across the company that should involve multiple departments and all levels of staff, not just HR. The lack of inclusion. Sometimes we tend to forget about true inclusion. Employers tend to ignore inclusion by focusing on race only, focusing on talent acquisition, but failing to develop an internal culture that embraces diversity. The result tends to be expensive and non-productive, and cause a lot of employee turnover. And more importantly, your performance tends to suffer. Diverse organizations historically outperform those without a concentration on diversity. Don't fall into this trap, gentlemen. At this point, we've been able to identify some of the issues that your company is dealing with and how KK&L will address those issues. So, should you choose to use our services, there's some things you need to be aware of that typically happen in the onset as far as diversity and inclusion. Number one will be internal resistance. If diversity and inclusion are to succeed, the company itself must undergo fundamental changes, not just your staff, not just HR. Quota versus diversity. Too many times companies think that bringing in X amount of blacks, Hispanics, and females is diversity, and that's not the case. You need to have a true diverse program, not just based on race. Reverse discrimination. We've been to organizations where typically the staff is mostly made up of one ethnic group, and when they see an influx of different ethnicities, they tend to become intimidated. That's not the case, guys. We're here to help you. Lack of effective communication. This needs to be communicated from the top down, management all the way down. We need to be able to create strategies for effective communication to enhance understanding and bridge all the differences. Organizational commitment. Demonstrating overall organizational commitment is extremely crucial for senior management. Senior management needs to be able to state, communicate, and document their support for their diversity initiatives to all employees at all levels. Sustainability. We're here to develop structures and strategies to equip leaders with the ability to manage diversity, be accountable, measure results, refine approaches on the basis of such data, and institutionalize a culture of inclusion. We're here to help you guys. So at this point, the ball is essentially in your court. Where do we go from here? We've already explained who we are and what we can provide to your organization. We identified your diversity and inclusion challenges. We highlighted the benefits of a diversity program, and we also highlighted the negatives of not having a program. Again, we have a proven track record of helping large global organizations such as yourself, and we are the premier diversity consulting firm in the United States. So let us help you. KKNL, we're here to serve. Thank you.